Okay, guys, this is your next assessment that I want you to do. It's going to take 2 weeks to do this. Um, so I will be expecting um, all the replies to come back in on the 25th of January. And it's going to be based on two development pages. And that's what I'm going to talk to you about now, using plenty of examples to give you inspiration. I will also be uploading all these files to MS Teams. So you're expected to do pages 5 and 6, and that'll be you in terms of your GCSE portfolio. So let's talk about these two pages, these two development pages. So first of all, based on your concepts will be your previous pages 3 and 4, you will have chosen a concept. So the first picture that you're going to put on here is a very basic image of your final concept that you've got in your head. So there's no paint on this. So if you're going to render this, you'll render it in MDF or wood if you're planning on painting it. But it's going to be a very basic thing. Then what you're going to do is you're going to start to break it down. How do you actually make this? That is the whole point of this development page. It is meant to be like a story, these 2 pages of how you make your final product. So if somebody um, from last year's Year 12 technology class came in, they could look at these 2 pages and see the journey of how your final project is made. So here, it's nice and easy, straightforward. You can see what it is in terms of what type of project it is. You're going to have a cutting list. Notice that it's just a set of rectangles that you can just then add in the information. So breaking this down into the different pieces. Here then you talk about the corners, and these are housing joints and lap joints. So you go into detail about these. And again, these images you can just take off the website, but it's really trying to break it down. How would you actually make this? It's not by magic. So how do you break it down? And you're all the time looking at your notes. So if you want to do a lap joint or housing joint, you're going to have to use a mallet, a chisel, and a tenon saw. Next then, how you're going to manufacture parts. So here's an example of 3D printing. So if you've been using SolidWorks, you can use a picture of SolidWorks. So for instance, if there's any part that you hope to 3D print, you can put this in as well. And you can use in these logos and screenshot that information and put it in. The second page of the development page is just more of what you're doing. So how do you finish the edges? Here there was a little bit of on this particular page, on this particular project, there was a project done which used the CNC machine. So again, you can break that down and add that in that information. You don't need the screenshots essentially. You can show a picture of a CNC machine and a 2D image of what you're planning to cut out. Here you can see there's a 3D image of it's actually a paper holder. How would you bend these sides? Well, you would use a line bender, and then you would go into the processes of filing the edges of plastic. So that's really the 2 pages that's being expected of you to do. Notice that it's a mixture of 2D sketches, some pictures, isometric sketches. It's whatever you can add in and add great detail to it. Okay, and that's the 2 pages, and you should break that down. Now, what to write here? When you're writing things, you should be thinking of your key sentence starters. So, for instance, I think by doing this, the performance of the product will be better because, etc., etc., etc. So whenever you're adding in, for instance, here, an example is, I think by adding the lap joint, I'm making the joint stronger as opposed to using a butt joint, which only has one surface to one surface for gluing. This is important because, and then you can maybe think of your specification or your theme, where because children are using it, you want it to be durable, because children are maybe going to throw it about, this sort of thing. Okay, so you're really trying to link back. This here, again, I'm going to put this up, but the decision to add this links back to my theme. So I have rounded the corners of my project using glass paper, and this links back to my theme. So you're really trying to think about your theme. You need to be linking back to your theme all the time, because remember, your theme is your client's brief. And if you don't satisfy the client's brief, then you can never hope to achieve an A grade. Right. So that's the scaffolding of it. That's looking at an example of another pupils. So here's a pupils where again, and can see here's the basic project, not painted. It's been rendered using woods, and then there's the breakdown. So you can start to see the similarities, the arrows pointing to the from one stage to the next. Okay. We can also then look at other examples from previous. This is GCSE work here. So here, section 3, development of proposed concepts. So this is what you're expected to do. Now, this particular folder has development into 3 pages. We don't do that at Armagh High. We do 2 pages. But again, you can see how it's been broken down and the journey of this here. Look how it's actually being put together using nuts and bolts, the breakdown of the materials, how it's being joined. Here's a bit of metal that's been bent up. You know, this breakdown, thinking about colors, what's the aesthetics of these colors, how can you add in these images? It's a complete breakdown of how you can do it. Here's another pupils folder. So again, they've made a model and they've started to really think about it. Here they're starting to add in pieces to generate a thickness. And you can see that got 22 out of 25. And look, breaking these down, how did they get this project done? So guys, that's what you're expected to do for your next 2 pages. A story of how you would do this, how you would actually make your project. And obviously you're not making your project, so you're going to have to be very clear of how you would actually make it. So this is the main one that you're doing here. Illustrate and develop and analyze how the solution may perform using excellent annotation and having considered a range of appropriate factors. This is the main thing. There are other elements to the 4 development pages, but you're only doing 2 pages. You're not doing the work and drawing, and you're not doing the card modeling as of yet, as we're waiting for SIA to come back to us on that. So those 2 pages must be done for the 25th of January 2021. Okay, guys, thank you. If you have any concerns, just email me directly and I'll respond. I've had about maybe 13, 14 emails from different GCSE pupils asking about information, which has been fantastic. And I'm normally replying back within an hour. So keep emailing me. It's been really, really good, and I'll help you anywhere I can. Thank you. I'll look forward to seeing your work. Email it to me as you've got it, as in tell me that you've now put it up on your PowerPoint. So even if you draw it by hand, upload it to the PowerPoint and then share that PowerPoint with me to let me know that you've got it done. Okay, guys, thank you. Bye-bye. Bye.